period.
Look, I think there is, of course, concern because this investigation continues and it has been underway for several months now. So there's no doubt serious concern within this administration and within the president's legal team. However, and Nicole, I've been speaking to members of his legal team for many months now. They insist that, look, there was no wrongdoing and that the course of action that makes the most sense for them is to cooperate with the special counsel. It's worth noting that you haven't seen the president's legal team attacking Bob Mueller because they think that cooperating is the way to get this wrapped up. They don't think that ultimately there's going to be any there, and that is what the president continues to insist and I think continues to believe. So in terms of the level of concern, I think there's concern because, of course, this complicates their ability to focus at various moments, and it complicates a whole host of other issues. At the same time, the legal team has had a very consistent strategy, which is to cooperate with the special counsel, to give the special counsel what they're asking for, and to get this wrapped up as quickly as possible, Nicole.
Peter Baker, what I heard around the time that the president's Twitter feed, there's a dispute about who typed it, but the president's Twitter feed communicated that the president had to fire Mike Flynn because he lied to Pence and the FBI. That since that moment, the president's friends, people not on the White House staff, people not on the president's legal team, at that moment became concerned that the president may stumble into some sort of legal predicament. Yeah. Call it obstruction of justice, call it the president getting tripped up in the kinds of questions about what he knew and when he knew it. We are now in a full national conversation about his mental stability. I wonder, Peter Baker, what you're hearing from your sources about the degree of difficulty for the president to sit down with Bob Mueller.
Yeah, no, that's a real question. Any lawyer in any situation, even with a completely innocent client, worries that the client could fall into a trap in any kind of interview like that, because anything that's or proven to be a misstatement, a lie, whatever, can be legally it would be legal exposure. We've seen already that Bob Mueller is charging people with lying to investigators. We've now had 2 guilty pleas on that. So they do not want to send the president in there.
And 2 others indicted.
And 2 others indicted, but not for lying to the investigator. Right. But the point is that he is going to drop the hammer.
With Bannon suggesting that money laundering went all the way to the top of the Trump.
That's
basically a criminal. I mean, there is a book on. We can't disconnect these conversations. They're all connected. There is a book on the stands right now. Michael Wolff has Steve Bannon basically suggesting that a money laundering enterprise, a criminal enterprise, was underway in the Kushner and Trump families. What lawyer lets Donald Trump sit down with anyone investigating anything?
Yeah, you would want to negotiate parameters, what would be the questions that are going to be asked, what would be the topics that would be contained, how much time would you have. And we don't know whether or not a prosecutor can compel a president to speak under these circumstances. In the past, President Clinton voluntarily went along with giving an interview to Ken Starr in order to avoid a subpoena. That could have been litigated all the way up to the Supreme Court.
And that's where he perjured himself.
And that's where he was accused and then charged by the House.
And a very nimble Bill Clinton, by the way.
Yeah.
That's the X factor. You can't, and you do have to connect the stories. Here's a guy who couldn't even answer, are you stable? And instead of saying, well, you know, I've got 25,000 Dow and 4% unemployment. Call me unstable, call me whatever you want. He is so not nimble. They've not let him do an interview other than Hannity. They wouldn't let him do the 60-minute interview in September. And other than taking a few questions on the go where he basically says whatever he wants, whether it's credible or not.
He always takes the bait.
Yeah, if there is any legal way from keeping face-to-face, they will do it, because I think that's the end at that point.
And by the way, we've seen him. Sorry.
Well, just to say, look, they're afraid of a Lester Holt moment. I mean, they're afraid, and they know, look, Robert Mueller, he doesn't have to be the closer, right? But you get Donald Trump in a room, and you poke his ego, you frustrate him, and he's going to say something. And if it doesn't get, it might get someone of the administration.
Let's go watch A Few Good Men. You want me on that wall. It will get to that point where you learn something like that out.
Go ahead, make it.
Well, I was going to say, we've seen Donald Trump in litigation in the past. He's been sued many times as a businessman, and he's often said things in depositions that end up contradicting things he has said in public. You can't get away with that now.
We have to sneak in a break, but let me give the only lawyer at the table the last word. David Jolly.
Yeah, look, the common theme here is we are all fearful about the president's competence. The reality is, if he gets under oath in front of Bob Mueller, it would likely be the undoing of his presidency. Ken Starr said after the impeachment that his greatest concern about Bill Clinton was that he used all the levers of his own defense to defend against these charges, and he never recognized the importance of the office of the presidency. That is Donald Trump right now. And at the end of the day, the only argument Republicans are going to have is to somehow suggest that Bob Mueller is protecting the American people. And at the end of the day, Donald Trump is going to try to save the Republican Party in this whole litigation.
Well said. Kristen Walker, thank you so much for your reporting.
Thanks,
when we
Nicole.
come back, Bannon backs down, or does he? What he dialed back only draws more attention to what he left on the record from that